Hi, I'm Dee Dee Bridgewater, and you're watching BMA Backstage at the Dakota. Well, we're celebrating New Orleans. That's what this is about. It was an idea that I had after we had done the groundbreaking ceremony for the construction of what is now the People's Health New Orleans Jazz Market. And we were at dinner, and I said, we should do a recording. It doesn't have to be anything great, but something that would let the community and the people of New Orleans know that I'm genuinely involved with you and with the orchestra. And so we went into the studio, the fabulous Esplanade Studios, 1 month to the day later, and recorded in 3 days what is now Dee Dee's Feathers. When we finished recording it and listened back to it, I said, this is so good. I got to see if I can get us a deal. And so it's on my label, DDB Records, and it's distributed by Sony. Okay. There is a house in New Orleans. It's called the Rising Sun. It's been the ruin of many a poor girl, and God, I know I'm one. My mama, she was a tailor. She sold my new blue jeans. My daddy was a gambling man down in New Orleans. What? Now the only thing a gambler does is a suitcase and a trunk. The only thing a gambler needs. That's right. The only time he's satisfied is when he's on a drunk. When he's on a drunk. Mama, tell your children don't do what I have done. Don't spend your life in sin and misery in the house of the rising sun. Well, I got one foot on the platform and the other foot on the train. I'm going back to New Orleans to wear that ball and chain. There is a house in New Orleans. It's called the Rising Sun. It's been the ruin of many a poor girl. And God, I know I am one. I know I'm one. I know I'm one. I know I'm one.
Yeah, I was the artistic director for jazz for the Minnesota Orchestra for 5 years. I started in 2009. And it was amazing. It was a wonderful experience to work with a major orchestra at the, top level. A little bit different from a classical orchestra to a jazz orchestra, but it was a fine institution and fine group, and I enjoyed every bit of it. It was great. We started off with Bridgewater with the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra. Went to 4 different continents. We've been to 35 different countries. And we've also had the great privilege of sometimes doing the 19-piece orchestra, but also doing smaller group things like with 7 individuals known as the New Orleans 7, or sometimes 5 individuals, which would be the New Orleans 5. And it's awesome to have an opportunity to explore music from different perspectives. 19 people is one perspective, of course 7 people is a completely different perspective. But the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra has been around for 13 years. It's the only nonprofit organization solely dedicated to jazz in the birthplace of jazz. And so we pride ourselves upon having the best musicians in the world, and a lot of musicians in a band, a very large percentage, have been there since the beginning. So there's a cohesiveness, a sound, and when we had the opportunity to collaborate with Bridgewater roughly about a year ago in our recording session, it was special. It took what we were doing artistically to the next level. Obviously, returning her back kind of to her beginning she was with Thad Jones and Mel Lewis Orchestra. Such spirit, such experience, such sound. She's grown the orchestra artistically tremendously.
I like to say to young singers to try to stay true to the music that influenced them, the music that brought them to the desire to want to have a career as a singer. And it doesn't have to be jazz. It can be R&B, it can be pop, it can be whatever, but it's got to be the music that is true for that individual. And that's all I ever try to say to anyone that's trying to pursue a career. I also say to someone if they're really trying to go into jazz, I tell singers and they want to scat to listen to instrumentalists and listen to the instrument that they identify with. You know, me, I consider my voice to be a trumpet. My father was a trumpet player. The first man to hire me professionally was a trumpet player, Thad Jones. My father, his name is Matthew Garrett, he's still living. And when we were in Memphis, Tennessee, where I was born, he taught a lot of our legendary jazz musicians, from Phineas Newborn to Booker Little, to Harold Mayburn, to George Coleman, to Carlos Garnett, Frank Strozier, a lot of great musicians that came out of Memphis. So I think of my voice as a trumpet, and I have always had an affinity for trumpet players.
You know, I haven't been in Minneapolis in probably 2 years. So it's exciting. It's homecoming. You know, after spending so much time here and doing so many performances and having so many friends, I'm really excited to be back. And it was actually in Minneapolis where Dee Dee and I had our first opportunity to collaborate with one another, actually for a Christmas program with the Minnesota Orchestra. Tonight, I'm just looking forward to be explosive, powerful. I'm looking forward to going up to the top of the mountain, standing on the edge of the cliff, looking out into the abyss, and then jumping off.
Hi, I'm Dee Dee Bridgewater, and you're watching BMA Networks. Don't change your dial.